Welcome to Focus on the Five, conversations with Baldwin County business leaders and entrepreneurs, brought to you by Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. And now, Josh Knoll.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let it rip, man.
All right.
What's your famous opening?
Yes.
He doesn't put this on the show for some strange reason.
Well, maybe I should.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh Knoll.
Everybody needs that intro, right? Hi, everyone. Welcome to Focus on the Five, conversations with Baldwin County, Alabama area entrepreneurs and business leaders. I'm your host, Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. We're coming to you today from the studios of WABF 1480, located here in beautiful downtown Fairhope, Alabama. Today, we're going to have a battle of the hair. It's a hair off. We're going to go with the perfect hair versus the perfect beard, and only one set of follicles can prevail. So my guest today is a man of many talents. He works as a product manager for Helium 10. But today we're going to talk about really what I think is his most amazing physical feature, his amazing beard. Please welcome to the show the owner of BeardThrice Beards USA, Mr. Barcus Patty.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Well,
Happy to be here.
Take a big breath. You're going to do great.
Okay.
All right. So Barcus, let's dive right in. Tell everybody what about BeardThrice Beards.
So BeardThrice Beards is my own line of beard oils, manufacturing and selling them. I've been focusing mainly on my website and selling on Amazon for the past few years. But beard oil, if you don't know what beard oil is, it's really just it's an all-natural product that is either scented or unscented, but it's mainly to keep the beard soft, smooth, and smelling great.
Okay.
So.
Well, all right. So, as a guy that struggles to grow a beard, and I joked with you about this earlier when we first met, was I grew a beard in my mid-30s and it looked pretty nice, and then I waited about 10 years and I grew another beard and it came in gray and straggly. So, beards themselves, nature tends to make the beard kind of go caveman. Is that accurate?
Yes and no. I think the majority of guys that don't have beards, a lot of it is just genetics. But as you grow older, you get gray hair, and that hair is typically coarser, a little bit thicker, a little bit more gnarly.
Yes.
Harder to maintain.
Right.
So, and the beard oil is really just there to, we all take care of our hair on top of our head. We wash it and condition it and maybe style it. That's what beard oil does. It's the same thing. It's the same kind of concept. It's just for a different type of hair follicle.
All right. Well, you said something with somebody with your robust of a beard. Do you have to actually shampoo that thing?
Yeah.
Do you?
My wife would, agree that it needs to be washed on occasion. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. You just got to take care of it, maintain it, and, keep it trimmed, keep it clean, keep it conditioned.
What does the beard oil do exactly with that? I mean, do you put it on after you shower? How does it work?
So it's an all-natural product. Typically what I do is after I get out of the shower, I just kind of make it towel dry it off, and then I apply the beard oil. The beard oil is, the way I make it, the way it's formulated, is to recondition the hair by letting all the oil soak back into the hair. So that way it's a little bit easier to maintain. It's the same way as like washing your hair. It's a little bit easier, washing and conditioning your hair. It's kind of the same process, and it just kind of smooths it out, a little bit easier to maintain. And once it's smoother, and the beard oil is good for helping keep the skin clean underneath it.
Okay.
That's a big thing too. Keeping the skin clean is a really important aspect of having a good beard, because if you don't have clean skin, it doesn't grow in as well or as much as it should.
So let me say this. Most entrepreneurs that I have met started out their business a lot of times trying to solve a problem on something that was bothering them. Now, I've never seen your actual face, so I don't know how long you've had that beard, but I'm going to take a guess that was there an origin where you're trying to grow a beard, it doesn't look good, doesn't match with what you're trying to do in the professional setting?
Yeah. So my girlfriend, now wife at the time, that's back in like 2015, she wanted me to grow a beard, and I always hated growing a beard because it was just gnarly. I didn't know how to take care of it, and my skin would get dry underneath, and then I would just get really mad and just shave it all off.
Right.
So she bought me one time for Christmas beard oil, and I'm like, well, I can make this. As a stubborn man, I'm like, I can do anything, right?
Right.
So then I started making it, and then around that time I started getting into the Amazon space, selling products on Amazon and being in the Amazon software space. So I'm like, well, maybe I can turn this into something real, something that I can scale into a real business.
Okay. Well, all right, two questions on that then. One, how does somebody make beard oil?
Man, that's really proprietary.
I knew it.
Yeah, I've got my own.
I mean, do you have like a mad scientist kit at home? I mean, how did it come about?
I started just researching what the ingredients are, how you use it, which ones are best for hair, which ones are best for skin, and kind of, creating something until I made a product that I was happy with. So the base of it is really, and there's all different types of ingredients. You can go multiple different ways. You can, you can obviously use chemicals. You can not. You can go all natural. But for me, I wanted to use all natural products just because I've always had some sort of dry skin issue on my face. Growing up as a teenager, I had acne. Like what guy doesn't? Didn't. And so I wanted to kind of solve those problems of keeping the skin clean underneath, and then keeping the beard soft so it's easier to maintain and style. So I used several different ingredients, and my ingredients are posted on my site. The scent part is proprietary. Got to keep something close to the chest.
That's right.
But I ended up making a product that I really like. It's not, for me and for most of my customers, it's not too greasy. It doesn't leave this super shine. It doesn't have an overwhelming smell. And I will say this: the first batch of scented products I made, nobody liked.
Okay.
I had to throw it because they all smelled disgusting. So it's there's that placebo effect of like, man, I made this thing, it's awesome.
Right.
And then somebody's like, not really,
Right.
So I had to go back to the drawing board several different times. And I've got some customer favorites. I've got a personal favorite of mine. And the scent is completely subjective. What I like doesn't mean anything. It's really about what customers like. And I'm always accepting of that feedback, whether it's critical or positive.
Right.
And, I might need to change something about my product. So I actually went, the base, the carrier, there's a base of the oil, which is they're called carrier oils.
Okay.
And that's about 90% of the product. The other 10% is really the scented product and the essential oils inside of it. But I went for a completely a nut-free carrier base. So all these oils are made from, they're not made from plants that contain nuts. Like there's not like it's grapeseed oil and apricot oil and sunflower oil and vitamin E oil. And the whole point of that was I actually had several customers like, do you have?
Right. No, this is great.
They had several customers that would contact me like, I have a nut allergy, so I can't use this on my face. And I'm like, oh wow. And that was something that obviously I don't have to deal with. So I just made my base where it's just nut free, so it doesn't affect people like that. Now, I've also had some people that have an extremely sensitive skin issues, and they just couldn't use it. And I tried making something for them, but they just had such sensitive skin that there was nothing I could really do for them. So
it's a process of evolution.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
do you feel, I mean, we've had, Lori and I have had craft brewers in here, we've had specialty meat businesses in here, and I think without fail, in my opinion, there's a certain passion and that gets into it, kind of gets into your blood a little bit, and you were able to kind of like craft quality in each one. Do you feel like you've been able to achieve that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy with my line right now. I'm working on a couple other things. And 5 years ago, or even 20 years ago, if somebody would have ever told me that I'm going to create a product basically that is around creating fragrances, I wouldn't believe you at all. But yeah, here I am, and then that's essentially what I do. It's and the scented product, it actually can replace your cologne. So what I do is I usually I put it in my beard and I style it in the way I want it, and then I'll rub it on my arms or the back of my neck, and then I haven't bought a cologne in 5 years.
That's amazing.
And that's mainly because I'm stubborn. I'm like, well, my product is amazing. So,
do you feel? Let me dive in this. You said something earlier on Amazon, so we're about to nerd out a little bit on people.
Okay.
But so on your line of work that you do with helium-10, is that what led you into having to learn about Amazon?
That definitely helped accelerate my learning process. So I've been in the Amazon software space for about 4 years, a little over 4 years. is third-party software to help Amazon sellers, whether that is with product research or keyword research or multiple other things. I worked for a previous company before Helium 10. So being in that space, you're kind of behind the scenes of what's working for people who sell products on Amazon at such a scale. And then you get access to so many people of a high level, whether they actually work directly for Amazon or they're people who have scaled multiple businesses on Amazon. You get access to those people and that knowledge, and it can be overwhelming, but that's definitely accelerated the learning curve for me.
And so how did you apply that to Thrice Beard?
So we talked about this earlier. Advertising your product on a marketplace like Amazon is completely different from advertising your product, whether it's on your Facebook page or your website or through, Google or Facebook ads. That's all really creative and storytelling off of Amazon. And on Amazon, there's just a few ways to really advertise your product. A lot of that is through sponsored ads. Everybody's seen advertising, sponsored ads. We call it pay-per-click or PPC.
Okay.
And that is a huge driver because you're just buying another piece of real estate on that page. Your product might be number 1, 2, or 3 on page 1 of Amazon, but you've done enough to know that you have to have that sponsored ad as well just to take up the space. So number one, another competitor can't get it, but if you see the same product over and over again on Amazon, you start to subconsciously think that, well, this is a real product, they are legitimate, they've got a lot of reviews, and that helps the conversion process.
Well, you said something interesting. On social media, I think one of the effective ways to promote your product or service is to tell a story, right? Amazon, I don't know where the heck you would actually tell a story. It'd be hard. So 2 solely different approaches. Fair?
Absolutely. Now, Amazon is also building out more avenues of allowing businesses to tell those stories,
right.
Whether that's through, there's just several different methods that they're slowly building out, a couple of different review programs. And so they're working on it. They obviously see that as a huge driver.
Right.
A huge driver in conversion processes. So it's just very different from, it's 2 different ways of thinking. Like the Amazon side is very analytical, number crunching, and
right. Transactional to a certain degree.
very transactional.
Right. Social media tends to be a bit more relationships.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't know the people that are forming the relationship sometimes.
Well, that's why the storytelling is so important on social media, because nobody's going to Facebook to buy beard oil. That's
right.
not their first thought. So,
right.
But they might see an ad or a video, an image or something that leads them through that eventually gets them to purchase.
Well, let's talk about an image then. So surely you are the spokesperson for your beard oil, right? I mean, I know the listeners don't know you as well as I do, but you're a modest guy. I appreciate that. But how many compliments do you get on that beard when you go out? Does your wife shave the beard? I'm tired of you getting all these compliments.
I do get compliments, but they're all from men, which is really hilarious. So,
wasn't expecting that one. That's
yeah,
great.
no, I mean, yeah, guys are like, nice beard, and so it's real funny. And then I'll excuse me, I'll have a conversation sometimes, or I'll just say, hey, thanks, I appreciate it.
Well, I'll be honest. I was speaking at a conference with 50 some people in the room, and the first thing I noticed was your beard. I was like, who is that guy with that great beard? So obviously it works. What got you? I mean, well, I tell you what we're going to do, Laura. We're going to do a quick station identification break. Let's for those of you just joining us here on WABF 1480 AM. This is Focus on the 5 conversations with Baldwin County, Alabama entrepreneurs and business leaders. I am your host, Josh Knoll, and I'm joined today by Mr. Barcus Patty of Thrice Beards USA. All right, Barcus, I want to jump back into the beard section of it. A beard at your level and with the beard oil, in my opinion, becomes more than just, conditioning your beard and looking good. Do you feel like you're kind of building an ecosystem around this style, this look? I mean, where do you see it going?
That's my plan. Is I eventually want to build out more products, some sort of line of men's grooming products. The more you start researching into, about beard oils and how you make them, and a lot of these ingredients can be used for other different types of products. And so you start researching that niche, and I started really going down this rabbit hole. And I got super interested in even like a women's beauty line one day. Now that might not ever manifest, but I think it would be something super cool to figure out how to make all those different type of products in a natural way.
I agree.
So,
Well, all right, so as you dove in with Amazon and now you've got your own product to market, what's maybe a thing or two that you learned that the average person walking down the street wouldn't know?
about selling on Amazon?
Selling on Amazon.
Just two things.
As many as you want to go. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people
Sure.
fascinated by that.
It's like I said, it's a very different way of thinking. So it's very analytical. It's very numbers, looking at your sessions and your conversion rate, like how many people go into your listing versus how many people are making a purchase, and then deciding what can I do to influence and increase that conversion rate. So it's very number crunching, and it can get really boring. It's not the easiest thing to do. I'm not as successful as I want to be, but I don't think any of us are. And so I'm always looking at those things, but then I'm also looking at how do I build traffic and create an audience off of Amazon.
The average person would think you stare at 3 computer screens all day trying to manage all this. Is that pretty fair?
Well, two.
Two? How big?
Just two.
Yeah, 2.
I have this ultra wide, so I split everything up, and then there's a bunch of different Chrome tabs going on at the same time. So
I've always positioned that social media, Amazon, Google, it's a language, and it's a language you kind of have to learn. And some people pick up on it instantly. Some people that are younger than us are kind of immersed in it from the beginning. But for me, when we went to the content marketing side of things, I swear I felt like I was learning a new language.
it's absolutely a skill.
It is a skill.
And it's something that like I struggle, and we've talked about this. That's how we met at that social media mastermind. And the reason I went is not only to see our mutual friend, but I wanted to learn because it's something that I know that I'm not great at, but the only way to get better at it is to continue to do it and deal with those losses and keep moving.
Well, and ask the people that have figured certain things out.
Yeah. And it's hard too because like for me, you get to a point where you might be afraid to spend that money and you don't get anything. A lot of people selling products online get into this mindset of what's my return on investment. And it's not not every little thing that you do is an immediate return on investment. So some people might run an ad for a day. Oh, I didn't get any sales. Well, I don't know anybody that can run a brand new ad to a cold audience and immediately get sales. If you do, I want to buy you a cup of coffee.
Oh, listen.
But there's a lot of people that get frustrated, and me myself, I've spent tons of money on advertising and messing up and doing things the wrong way, and I'm just now, like at the end of 2019, things are starting to slowly click.
Right.
Obviously not at the rate I want to.
But you had to do all the work behind. I mean,
I had to make all those mistakes, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I get asked, especially, I don't mean to pick on my industry, but my industry tends to lag a little bit when it comes to being online, things like that. And one of the questions I get a lot when I go talk or and they know what I'm doing is, well, are you making any money on it? Did you that post you did or that video you did? What kind of return on, like you said earlier, what kind of return on investment did you get? And my thing is, occasionally, and maybe this will increase as we get better at our content. Occasionally, somebody will reach out from that, but the reality of it is, it's probably like the 10th time they've seen or listened or heard something related to my business. Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the old school way of touches. You were talking earlier about the paid ads. It's not that we're all lizard brain, but I'm guilty as anybody. If I see, I buy ink, I buy printer ink, and I don't know who advertises, but I buy their stuff every time. And the reality of it is they probably just put it in front of my brain every time I'm going there, right? So there's a science and a language and an art to all that, to getting that done. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And your industry is very different from physical product industry. Like
Right.
there's a longer path to gaining a customer for the most part.
Yes.
And we talked about this earlier, like money is very sensitive for everybody. So it's a harder ask to even, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee and talk to you about your finances? Like I'm sure a lot of people just tell you no, just because they don't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But so it's a very different. It's probably a little bit shorter for a physical product that's under $30.
It's personal.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
absolutely, it's personal.
absolutely.
It's
So-
like, hey, tell me about the mole on your back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I just met you.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, and I think I want to say something, then I want to go back to yours. I think one of the things we've done a good job with is allowing people to get to know me a little bit. So there is kind of that comfort level because it comes down to trust.
Sure.
So on that note, I know you're doing the Amazon, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I've got a point to this question. Do you feel like you've dived in to social media and the videos for the product yet, or is that on the plan? What do you think? Because I got a point to that question.
Sure. Yes and no. Like, I'm in the middle of creating content with I've got a specific framework in place. I'm trying to get really, really good at storytelling because I have a very creative mind.
Yes.
Versus analytical.
Yep.
So I'm attracted more toward investing my time and money into storytelling without people feeling like I'm trying to get them to buy something. Because it's all about content. I want people to understand what it is, why to use it, how to use it. So a big converting thing for me in social media is like an alternative uses. Like I was telling you, like rubbing the beard oil on my arms and the back of my neck. That's an alternative use to use the product. So I've got a couple of guys that really like the product. They don't have beards, but they use, they like the scent, so they use it as like a cologne.
Yeah, one of my mentors told me years ago when I got into the business, to remember no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think, with yours, yes, it is a product, but you are absolutely trying to provide somebody that wants to have a nice beard, something that the wife is going to like, the buddies are going to respect. And when he goes out in public, he's not like, oh my gosh, that guy needs to shave, right?
Yeah.
So, my thing, the reason I asked about the social media marketing, the videos, because Lori can attest to this. If I were you, I would have a shirt that would say, like this beard, click here. Because my gosh, you're your best walking advertisement.
I'm the cheapest too, so.
Yeah, you got to turn to the camera.
I don't have to pay myself.
Right.
For anything. So yeah, I guess I am a walking testament to my products too. But you were talking about women liking the products. I would say at least 30%, if not more, of my customers are women on Amazon and on my website. They're buying it for, the men in their lives, whether it's, a husband, boyfriend, father, son, whatever. And it's all about what they like, what your partner likes. I only use a beard oil. It's my favorite because my wife likes it. If she didn't like it, I wouldn't wear it. It's the same thing as a shampoo or cologne or deodorant or anything like that. That scent it's so subjective, but it's also tied so close to like memories,
Oh, listen here. I'm in a non-going, I've been married 21 years. And from day one, I've been trying to keep my Old Spice in the shower. And it just disappears.
Random, for whatever reason, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because what you said, a memory. That's what I grew up with. That's what my dad used.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
and she's like, this Old Spice is out the door.
Yeah,
right.
my dad used the old school Old Spice where it was the little twist,
yes,
little glass, the ceramic jar, and it had a little bit of a twist, and you just let it pour out. Yeah, I hated it.
Oh, you ever try that when you were a kid and put that on your face?
Oh, I hated
put a lighter to your face.
Yeah, I know.
How in the heck they do this?
The aftershave, the Home Alone, reenacting, in Home Alone where he puts the aftershave on and he screams. I remember doing that myself.
I still do that. All right, tell us about your background. Where are you from? What brought you here?
So I was born in Texas, a little town called Greenville, Texas, and my mom, that's Northeast Texas. My mom and dad are both from West Texas, Odessa, same town. Kind of grew up not together, but in the same, kind of had the run-in, like commingling of friends, growing up. And so we lived there. We actually lived in California for about 5 years when I was little. We moved back to Texas, and then in '94, we moved to Fairhope. And kind of been here ever since.
Since 1994.
Yeah.
You were young.
Yeah, I was 15.
This is
14 or 15.
This is BB, before beard.
Yeah,
long before beard.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't grow anything when I was in high school, early 20s.
Oh, I didn't hit puberty until I was 35, so I feel your pain there. All right, so you got here, obviously love it here. I know one of the questions that I'll get from listeners or viewers of the show is, Lower Alabama's hot.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about how you handle that thing in the summer, because the beard will help.
Yeah, it doesn't really hold that much heat in, honestly. You go outside to check the mail and you're going to start sweating, so that's just part of, July, August, September in the South.
Occasionally November.
Yeah, and December.
Right.
Last week it was hot, and then now it's like, 40 degrees?
Yes.
So it doesn't hold that much heat in. It does block some of that cold wind like, if there's a sharp wind, if you're walking out like downtown or something, like it'll help block it. But for me, it doesn't hold that much heat. It doesn't make me sweat more than the living in the South does.
Interesting. Well, all right. How do people find you? How do they find Beard Oil and you?
So I'm on Facebook. It's not hard to find me. Barcus Patty.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other Barcus Patties out there.
No. Yeah. And
that's Barcus with a B.
Yeah.
Barcus, Barcus Patty.
Correct. And then my website, thricebeards.com, thricebeards.com.
And is there a good phone number, email, or do you keep everything kind of online through the Amazon and the website?
Just Barcus at Thrice Beards. That's the easiest way. Somebody's got a question about something.
Very good. All right. How about, you got any upcoming promotions? Anything you want, or any events where somebody can come see you? And do anybody ever walk up to you and just touch your beard that you don't know? Be honest.
No.
Really?
I'm really happy that they don't.
They will after this show.
Well, let's hope not. So yeah, I'm doing a promotion right now and I kind of always do this in December, but it's buy one get one free of all the products on there. And then I also extend for January, like there's free exchanges or returns through January 30th, just because I know that since it's so subjective, like, Jennifer might buy something for you one day and you might absolutely hate it, but she loved it and you might want to exchange. So I always extend the exchanges or returns.
So right now, if they go on
thricebeards.com,
Two
buy
for
one,
one?
get one free. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Very
Discounts
good.
auto applied at checkout. Like, you don't have to put in a special code or anything.
Well, I wish you came into my life many years ago, because I grew up with a bunch of hillbilly family. They had big old burly beards, right? And they get in there and rub it in your face and just mess with you. I had an uncle, rest in peace, Uncle Richard, but he looked like Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can imagine if he'd had that, probably would look pretty good. So, and he had long hair. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap up?
No, that's it. I just appreciate the opportunity. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you coming on. I think what you have is really cool. And I know, sometimes when you're involved in behind the scenes and it just seems like you're moving 1 inch at a time on things, right?
Or a foot behind.
Or you're taking 2 steps back, 1 foot, all that. But I think from the outside in, I really want to compliment you. I think you've built a really unique brand. I think it really fits you well, and I think you're just a walking advertisement for here locally. And I think, man, once you start leveraging that, look out, So
Let's hope so.
You'll have people walking up and touching your face all the time, total strangers.
I'll have to call the police.
All right. Anything else, Lori?
Take a look at the camera.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody do their votes. This is Suave 3-in-1. That's actual good stuff right there. All right. If you're a regular listener of the show, then you know that we also film our conversation and release it across on YouTube, Facebook, and on my website, gulfcoastfa.com. So if you're watching this video and you'd like to reach out to either Barcus or myself, feel free to send us a message. You reply to messages online and everything, right?
Absolutely.
Big part of it. Lastly, if you're a Baldwin County area entrepreneur or business person and you'd like to have a conversation like this one, reach out to me. You'll find my contact info at the end of the show. In closing, I want to thank my guest, Barcus Patty of Thrice Beard USA, for joining us today. You did a great job. Also thank our producer, Lori DeBose, as well as all of you out there listening. I am Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors, and this has been Focus on the 5. Have a great day. Bam.
Thank you for listening to Focus on the 5. If you are interested in learning more about Josh Knoll and Gulf Coast Financial Advisors, you can find us at gulfcoastfa.com, call 251-327-2124, email josh.knoll@gulfcoastfa.com, or message us on Facebook.
Advisory services offered through Prime Capital Investment Advisors, LLC, PCIA, a federally registered investment advisor. PCIA, doing business as Prime Capital Wealth Management and Qualified Plan Advisors. PCIA and Gulf Coast Financial Advisors are not affiliated. All information presented is for educational purposes only and is not an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities.